So first of all, when you walk into the lab, what you will see in terms of how do I access the equipment, that is that the equipment is going to lay it out for you in a browser window. So I will have a couple of Nexus 7000 VDCs. Those VDCs can be OTV VDCs or storage VDCs. So you will see two Nexus 7000s. So we have two chassis of Nexus 7000s, each with 4 VDCs. So that's already 8 manageable devices in my network, right? So the amount of management points in the network is increasing rapidly. So below here, I might have some Nexus 5000s. Maybe here as well. With some connections, of course, this can be a VPC maybe a back-to-back VPC. And in the other data center, this can be like a fabric path topology. So maybe I'm running fabric path here and VPC in the other data center. You will see one of the two used in one of the two data centers. Then below here, I will have my fabric interconnects and the UCS chassis. Also maybe VPC together with VPCs on the N5 case then, and not on the fabric interconnect, of course, because that's not supported. Here we might have some Nexus 2Ks that connect to a C-series server that we do not have access to do our enhanced VPC configuration, right? So this C-series server will be connected using an enhanced VPC. We're doing FCOE from that C-series server all the way up to the 5Ks, and think of any kind of creative topology that you can think of. So this should, and I'm running of course VPC Plus here. So anything that you can think of here. So this is strategy-wise going to be all around the management points in my network. So of course in between, like I already mentioned earlier, we have a backbone device. That backbone device is going to be a router or a switch. Probably a router, because that of course allows me to use OTV. And you will be given the IP addressing, MTU sizes, routing protocol, area numbers, ERGB AS numbers, everything that you can think of. So I will probably do some OTV connection, multicast on OTV, that about the rendezvous point, that is going to be true. So probably the backbone is going to be the rendezvous point of your network. If not, one of your 2, 3, or 4 OTV edge devices is going to be the rendezvous point, depending on what you need to do, right? So be prepared for that multicast routing that I showed you earlier during the OTV lecture, and about OSPF routing that I showed you earlier. So be sure to, maybe the backbone is the rendezvous point, maybe not. Be prepared to configure a rendezvous point as I showed you in the OTV lecture. So be prepared for that configuration in between. Then I also have some MDS switches, those 9222Is. Maybe I have 2 switches, maybe I have 4 switches, depending on the topology. So they can add or remove some switches. So there are some links in between here, preferably IP links to do FCIP across our 2 data centers. And you probably will see them directly connected to each other. So there will not be a lot of complexity in connecting those MDS switches together in terms of IP. These will of course be connected through Fiber Channel with a storage VDC and with the Nexus 5K preferably, to do all kinds of FCOE technologies and all kinds of Fiber Channel technologies. We will have a JBOD with some disks And probably on one of those disks, we have installed ESX. So on that disk, you will start booting from SAN in your UCS system. Excuse me. My voice is killing me after 5 days. But so we have a JBOD here with a couple of disks that we need to advertise towards our UCS system. And in that UCS system, we're going to do boot from SAN, or maybe even do boot from iSCSI. So both are possible here. And again, be prepared to see enhanced VPC, VPC Plus, VPC in the other data center, running OSPF, running ERGRP, running HSRP, VRP, all the protocols that we touched on this week. So as you can see, there are a lot of management points, right? So we have 8 of the Nexus 7 case, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19 management points just on this picture, right? So 19 PuTTY windows on this window. And like I said, when you walk into the lab, this is going to be the browser window that you'll fire up and see this whole drawing. And you get your mouse and you click on a certain device, and that fires up the PuTTY window that you can access the connection. You will access the 7000 VDCs through an SSH directly into the box, because of course the console will bring me into the default VDC, nothing else. So you will have access to the default VDC. So you can change VDC configuration. On the 5Ks and the MDSs, you will have console access. This console access is set to 9600 bits a second. And why do I specifically mention this? Because when this is set to 9600 bits a second, there is no debug command that I can do. Debugging on the Nexus 5K or on the NXOS requires the 38400 bits a second console speed. So because we are running 9600 bits a second, we will not be able to do a debug command on the Nexus 5K. It's just not possible. You need to do debugging towards a log file if you want to do that. Of course, it's not really necessary to do debugs in the lab itself when when everything is working fine and when you are just configuring things. So the chances are slim, but be prepared that if you are doing a debug command on the 5K or the MDS, you're on the console, so it will reject your command. On the 7Ks, that's not the case because I do run SSH towards my 7Ks. Now, as far as the Nexus 1000V concerns, this Nexus 1000V will be running inside the UCS. So when I did my boot from SAN, the Nexus 1000V, so it will fire up VMware, so it will boot ESX, and after it booted ESX, it will start the Nexus 1000V. So that means that my N1KV is running, at least the virtual Ethernet modules are running inside the UCS. So that means the line cards are in the UCS. The ESX servers are in the UCS. Now the Nexus 1000V consists of 2 parts. We have a virtual supervisor module and we have a virtual Ethernet module. The supervisor module is a VM running NXOS. The VEM is a plugin inside the ESX hosts. So 2 components. This is considered the line card of the switch. This is considered the supervisor of the switch. So 2 major things that we need to take care of. The connection between the line card and the supervisor can use 2 technologies. It can use layer 2 VLANs, so just layer 2 connectivity between that VSM and the VEM, or it can use a layer 3 routed connection. between that VSM and the VEM. Meaning, I will configure an IP address on the VSM and an IP address on the ESX server. They will start talking to each other and detect each other and negotiate what they need to negotiate with each other. That being said, that means that the VSM is not going to run inside the UCS. Because the only thing I require for this to work is a routed connection between the UCS blade and the VSM. This is where the VSM will be running. It will be running inside the backbone with a routed connection towards your VEMs inside the UCS. So this is where you can imagine that everything needs to be working. Your Ethernet part needs to work, your routing needs to work, your VPCs need to work, your UCS needs to work on terms of networking side, in terms of boot from SAN, before you can even start the Nexus 1000V section. So that is considerably a lot of things to do before you can even start configuring it. At least it's not running inside the UCS. The VSM is not running this. You're not cutting yourself off when you're sitting there. No, immediately when you walk into the lab, you can click on the VSM as well. That fires a PuTTY towards the VSM. So I'm just going to put an SSH session towards this VSM. I can just click it, but I will not see any line cards. But now the problem is, to get this working, I really need that whole stack of protocols and that whole stack of devices to be operational before I will even earn a single point in my Nexus 1000V. So that is potentially a big issue. Like I said, the Nexus 1000V will be approximately 10% of the tasks, 10% of the points. And they might even give you away some points. Meaning, if some VEMs are coming online, I will immediately give you some points. Like I said, about the 1000V, that is available to you right away when you walk into the lab. And that's going to give you some points as soon as you activate some of the VEMs. So as soon as some blades will boot and the connection is established between the VSM and the VEM, you will see that you will get some points given away to you.